Us now is Adam Green, the co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee, a political action committee that initially backed Platner but has since pulled its support. Nice to see you this morning, Adam. How do you feel about this convention of some 600 people that's going to select a new Senate candidate in the next 18 days?
Well, the stakes are high, and if we want to have a candidate who can defeat Susan Collins by making clear that she was the deciding vote for Brett Kavanaugh and has been a lockstep soldier for Donald Trump, we need the best person possible as the candidate, and we need a really pumped up Democratic Party that is unified. And that's why these questions around how will the candidate get selected are so critical. And there's really two things I would kind of put on your radar. The first is, just as your reporter said, will there be ranked choice voting in the convention itself? As was said, Nirav Shah got the most votes on the first round in the recent primary, but he didn't have the most support across the Democratic Party. That was progressive Hannah Pingree, and now she's the nominee. Similarly, we could have a 600-person convention with 6 candidates where 5 of them support taxing billionaires, 5 of them support Medicare for all and shaking up the system. 1 of them is backed by AI and crypto and APAC and other corporate interests, and that person skirts by with 130 votes if we don't have ranked choice voting. So that is a must. We would not be on a course to defeat Susan Collins if that were true. And the second is, how are local counties going to nominate their people? And it needs to be a really wide open process where people feel like, not just party hacks, but regular people have gone to the convention itself.
Look, this is complicated, right? I mean, I don't think there's a state that's been through anything like this. Certainly Maine has it and has to do it all very, very quickly. Part of going forward, though, I think, is coming to terms with what happened and why. And I want to play for you Graham Platner's explanation for what happened. Listen.
It's not the false allegations, though, that have brought us to where we are. It's the fact that they are being used by the political establishment to put structural pressure on us. We live in a political system that is not built for normal people. It is a system that is built structurally to make sure that movements like ours cannot flourish. That if they begin to succeed, they can be crushed.
Is this the political establishment's fault that he's dropping out? Or is it because a woman came forward on television and said that he raped her?
It's the latter. That video really made no one proud except for probably Graham Platner. It was quite unfortunate. I don't think his campaign team even supported him putting that type of video out. I would be the first to acknowledge that there is a battle for the soul of the party going on within the Democratic Party. I'm from the economic populist wing, wanting to fight corporate power for the little guy. But even one of our heroes, Elizabeth Warren, made clear to Graham Platner about a month ago when he came to talk to her and other senators, people have marriage problems. But can you assure us that there is nothing related to consent or violence about to come? And he gave her that assurance. That was the line in the sand, and that is a good line in the sand for Democrats to have, and he violated that line. And now we have to move on, and we have to, with what just happened in mind, choose a candidate. And, maybe in this case, in this race, we don't go with an untested candidate. Maybe less the beer manufacturer guy who nobody knows anything about, and maybe more someone like Shanna Bellows or Troy Jackson. We'll see. But yeah, that was a tragic video.
Interesting. How much damage do you think? How much damage do you think has been done to the progressive cause for people who say we need outsiders?
This was certainly a setback, but I don't. It would be tragic to think that this means that we just need party hacks in Washington. I would point out that in 2018, everyone from Katie Porter to Alyssa Slotkin to many others who won that year were first-time candidates. Right now, Abdul Al-Sayed is running an insurgent economic populist campaign in Michigan, and he's winning. Dan Osborne is an economic populist independent running in Nebraska. He's neck and neck in a 20-point red state with the Republican senator. So I think the point, Will Lawrence is a great candidate running in a swing congressional district and is the front runner, a former Sunrise co-founder, taking on corporate power. So the point is being proven across the country that bold economic populists can win, but certainly this was a black eye, and it's very good that he got out of the race.
Adam Green, frank conversation this morning. We appreciate you joining us and going through these things, and I should note that Graham Platner continues to deny the allegations against him. Thank you. Kate?